This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 173 of The Real Word.
Word is up. Welcome back.
Well, I was just here like 2 weeks ago. We did a show in studio together.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Now we're back. Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now I've kept your seat warm.
Good. Mm-hmm. It feels warm. All right. We've got a little NAR decision making happening that we're going to cover.
I didn't even know that it was in the works. Did you?
I did not.
I didn't either.
No.
But
we're going to cover that anyway. Seems interesting. There is a property that had a bidding war that you're not going to believe the price tag. And then an agent who is our marketeer of the week, who has a great real estate name.
Fabulous.
I love her name. And she tried out one of these disruptor products to help better educate her clients. I think that's very interesting. Let's get into Racket number one. We'll link the Inman article. Controversial proposal to require addresses on ML listings has passed a hurdle. So what hurdle has it passed? Basically, there's a NAR, National Association of Realtors committee that has said, yes, every listing that goes onto the MLS must require an address being shown. That now is going to the board, which this Friday, May 14th, depending on when you're watching it, it'll be this Friday for if you're seeing this right away, May 14th, 2021, the NAR board will vote on this.
Yes.
So I was like, when you brought this up,
you're like, who does that? Who would do that? Who doesn't put addresses?
Everybody puts their address.
Nope.
Not everybody.
No.
Who doesn't?
Well, again, I mean, we have luxury listings, but here in the state, we can only speak for the state of Connecticut at this point. In the state of Connecticut, the luxury market has been so slow up until probably this year, I would say.
And you've seen a lot of people withhold the address? Because
no,
I haven't seen it.
So and that's what I'm saying. I don't think
I don't see it in other states either.
You don't? I'm certain that like in California, like LA, anybody that's maybe famous, I'm sure they're probably keeping their address off.
Well, they usually disclose who the owner is in that situation.
Potentially,
sure.
but I also just think that like to avoid drive-bys, it's actually interesting. Maybe that would be an interesting strategy right now with all these crazy.
Not the kind of drive-by you're thinking about.
No,
not that kind of.
Well, there's so many drive-bys. I can't tell you how many sellers have said, Nicole, do you know how many people have driven up my driveway in the last day since you've listed it? Like driving up, they're actually sometimes
that's a drive-in.
Knocking on their door saying, hey, I don't want to bother my agent. Can I come see the house now? I mean,
that's just getting ridiculous.
It's super ridiculous. So maybe actually it's an interesting strategy for right now. But there is an additional section though. Did you read the rest of the article? Because there's
a lot to it. They get into the whole clear cooperation rule.
Well, and they're talking about actually
which we're not going to get into.
Sold listing addresses to be disclosed to. So
yeah. So what they wanted to do was without a sales price. So if there's a sale without a sale price, putting the address but not the sale price. I don't know.
But I do think that on MLS, it's probably in everybody's best interest, to put the address on there. But I do believe maybe some of our viewers have removed the address from their listing.
Here's what the proposed policy says. Residential listings filed with the MLS must include a property address where one exists at the time the listing is filed. Sometimes you have a lot and there's not really a true address. So
it says if a property address is unavailable,
then the parcel identification number, that would be your lot number. Okay, must be submitted at the time the listing is filed. If no address or parcel identification number is available at the time the listing is filed, the listing must, at a minimum, contain a legal description of the property sufficient to describe the location of the property. This information
so the
shall
address
be
would
available.
be like second house on the left, Water Street.
What I found was interesting is that they talked about this in November. We missed it clearly because we never covered it. And in November, there was a huge uproar, which is why they pushed it to this committee. And now they're going to finally.
Well, again, I do think that there's a higher end clientele that probably doesn't want their address. I'll be honest, though,
too. An uproar, though, over this.
Well, but maybe. Again, that's maybe what agents are pushing.
What are we talking here about? 2% of properties, if that?
Well, but again, if you're an agent,
not even. I would say it's less than 1%.
But if that's part of your shtick with a listing, hey, I can keep your anonymity.
Oh, she finally can't talk.
Anonymity.
I love that.
Anonymity. And you try it.
I just said
no,
it
you
right.
didn't.
I got it because I'm hearing you. I don't want to even approach a word I don't use very often.
What's that movie?
Being anonymous.
Yes, right.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. Yeah. Anonym.
Being anonymous.
Yes, that one.
So I would imagine we're talking less than 1% of properties. So So if that's an agent stick, we're talking very few agents that have this stick. And there was an uproar, and they couldn't make a decision in November, and they pushed this. I don't know.
Well, I think the problem here is that most people, if you're going to hear anything, are going to be the complainers and not the ones that are actually for the bill. Like if you're fine with it, like you didn't, like we didn't even know about it, but if you're for it, you're like, cool, that's fine. Like that's how I operate my business anyway. But if that's not how you're operating your business, of course you're going to reach out, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. They could have been exaggerating. I sometimes exaggerate my stories.
Most of the properties on the MLS, far majority, and in the comments if you agree with this in your MLS, the far majority have an address attached to the property.
I've never come across a home that did not have an address.
Well, there you go. I mean, there you go. You said this happens. But
I disclosed at the beginning that I do not believe it happens in Connecticut. I think I mentioned maybe California, like LA, like high, like.
And they could, like if you're talking about the high end, there could be Greenwich that this is happening
potentially.
A little bit.
I don't know. I've never seen it in our market, but I'm certain that there's probably. I mean, even obviously there are
in Naples in Florida.
They're wanting to remove it.
I've seen $50 million sales, and the address is right there. You know, you can go drive by there's no gate in that particular area that I'm talking about either. You can just like drive down there.
Well, they obviously don't care then.
Do a drive by.
Well, back in the day though, these higher end clients didn't even want their photos on the MLS. So you would only see maybe one or two, whatever the minimum really was, because they did not want people seeing the inside of their homes. That's drastically changed. Now people are doing freaking Duffy videos at their home.
I mean, at this point, I don't believe the address is that big of a deal. I mean, in all honesty, let's face it, you can do a Google map and zoom into anybody's backyard.
Unless you had a real shitty address. Maybe that's part of the strategy too. You know, like Route 1 or, you know, you're keeping it away because you want people to come.
Route 1's not that bad.
I don't know. Why? You on Route 1? You're not on Route 1.
I'm not on Route 1.
I'm just saying.
I'm just, I'm fine with Route 1. All right.
I'm fine with Route 1.
I think it'll pass this Friday because it just doesn't seem like that big of a deal. We'll see what happens though. Racket number 2. This is a huge deal. Multiple offers on a property that sold for $136.5 million.
A quarter.
Oh, 136.25. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Following a bidding war, Montana ranch to sell for around, this is its asking price, around its $136.25 million asking price. Climbing Arrow Ranch near Bozeman was publicly listed for
less than a week
ago before finance.
It was listed for less than a week.
Listed less than a week.
And Bozeman is a location, not a person.
Not a person.
No.
Thank you. I've never been to Montana. Sounds fabulous.
It's fabulous.
Bozeman, Montana.
What's his name is there? What's his name?
Well, Ted Turner owns a property right next to this one.
Well, and this is the location of
a movie.
Yes, Robert Redford's A River Runs Through It. But you know,
never seen that, by the way.
Who else is in Montana too? Is what's our
lots of people in Montana.
The Yeezy guy.
Kanye.
He's
got his whole compound.
Oh yeah, he's got like a church.
Oh, good
he's
for him.
like gospeling. Oh, it is Wyoming? Oh, okay. Well, good thing we have Bobby here.
Like Jackson or something, right? Probably Jackson, Wyoming. Jackson Hole.
Never
Ever
mind.
heard of it?
My story was
Jackson
better.
Hole, fabulous place. Never been there
Thank
either,
you, Bobby.
But it looks great on Instagram.
Keeping me on track.
All right, so if the deal closes, the property believed to be one of the largest private undeveloped ranches in the Rocky Mountain West will be one of the most expensive ever sold in the U.S. The deal also speaks to the general strength of the market in the Bozeman area, where real estate prices have skyrocketed amid the pandemic, according to people familiar with that area.
Does it say anything about what's going to happen? Are they going to develop it? That's a lot of land.
The sellers are the Anderson family. They have owned the property since 1959. You know what this article fails to say is how much they bought it for in 59. I was really curious to see how much they bought this piece of land for. It's about 80,000 acres.
With cattle.
Non-continuous parcels. So there's 5 separate parcels. And it's roughly 30 miles from Bozeman and spanning 4 counties.
Love it.
This ranch property. I wonder if you got to go through like Mr. Ted Turner, his property to get to your other parcel. I don't know, but he's Ted Turner, obviously. TNT, Atlanta Braves, all that kind of stuff.
I don't have a membership, so I can't read the article.
Oh, you don't have the Wall Street Journal. We'll link up the Wall Street Journal article. If you have a membership, you can read it. But I'm basically telling you the whole thing.
If not, you're kind of like me. You're flying blind.
The property also includes a herd of nearly 2,000 commercial Black Angus cattle and an abandoned railroad.
Why not?
All right. So there you go.
Love
That
it.
property, one of the highest sales in U.S. history. There are 5 very modest ranches on the property as well.
I love it.
Mostly for staff potentially, but it is what the article said. The view's fantastic. Bobby, maybe we can actually get that view going up here.
Is that the actual location? Because those
I
are
would
not
say
those
so.
are not modest ranches.
Climbing Arrow Ranch is one of the largest private
so maybe it
undeveloped
is.
properties.
I'm seeing barns, some ranches.
Yeah, you got some barns. There's a
No,
couple
it's
ranches.
gorgeous.
Those
Trust
ranches
me.
are very modest.
I would totally sit out there in a chair and stare at that. No problem.
Would you want that much land? If you had 136, would you buy something oceanfront in like, I don't know, on the Keys, Miami Beach or something? I don't think the Keys go up quite that high, but let's say Miami Beach.
Why are we doing just Florida?
Well, I'm trying to think of somewhere better.
I don't know.
Where else would we go?
Well,
An
I
island?
would do
Maybe an
anywhere.
island?
I would do anywhere. It would need to be along the water. Yes.
Okay, so would you do something on the water
Yes.
for just like a few acres, or would you want 80,000 acres?
No, I
Same
think
money.
I think it's beautiful. I just
California, I
I
guess.
just don't even know what you would do with all what is there liability? Like what if someone just like roams onto your
No, nobody's-
land?
There's
You know?
cattle roaming around.
Yeah,
Roaming.
I don't do well when I'm not like a mile away from like salt
They
water.
would be trespassing, first of all, so I don't think
I
it'd be
understand
liability.
that, but what am I gonna like? I'm gonna drone
So you
that
take the
all
waterfront,
day?
you take the beachfront?
Yeah, probably.
All right. I'm in with the beachfront.
Yeah.
All right, Marketeer of the Week. This agent did the knock home swap. We've talked about knock previously on the show, but she did this on her own home. So here's what happened. What happened, Nicole? First of all, Christy Keys, shout out to you. You're the Marketeer of the Week. I would give you the Marketeer
Just for her name.
just for your last name, Christy Keys. I got the keys.
You think that's her real name?
I know she might have changed it.
She could have. You know, it's like Cher.
There's the guy in our
you know?
market in Connecticut. He's over in New London County. His last name's Houseman. Houseman.
Huh.
Houseman.
On purpose?
I would just be braining the heck out of that. I am the houseman. I'm the
I
man of
am
houses.
the man of house.
I'm the man of the
I
house.
am man
I'm the
house.
houseman. But Keys, Christy Keys, kind of flows. I like it. Christy, great name. Maybe, I don't know, maybe she's married and it wasn't her, maybe that's not her maiden name.
There's so many things that we can pretend
Christy,
that we know about
let
this.
us know about the name. Anyways, that's not necessarily why you're the Marketeer of the Week. So here's why she did it. Number 1, gave me a chance to try it out for my clients. That to me is why she's the Marketeer of the Week.
I love it.
She was willing to like go through this process of a disruptor model so that she could now be the educator of these models for her clients. She could do video, blogs, articles in her market. Here's my experience. Here's the pros. Here's the cons.
Right.
Glenda Baker down in Atlanta, Georgia, she told me a story on the Byron Lazine podcast. Ever heard of that?
I'm byronlazine.com.
On that, you can find it
Check
there.
him
So-
out on Instagram.
yeah, check it everywhere. So Glenda said that she actually had a client come to her and say, hey, I've got an ability to do the Zillow offer. Here's the number. Glenda did a side-by-side analysis. Okay, here's what you're going to get there. Here's what you're going to get with me selling the house. Then she was actually netting more by
With
taking
Zillow?
the Zillow offer. And so Glenda laid it all out for her and was like, hey,
Go for it.
that.
Gotta.
But she educated her client, and guess what she's getting now?
Referrals.
Referrals for life.
Of course, yeah.
For life.
No, I mean, I think we do need to keep in mind that Christy Keys, she had a ton of equity in her house. Her and her family did want to sell and buy. Obviously, in this market, it's very difficult to buy.
Because
And
knock will
sell.
basically buy your house so you can go buy the other one.
Right.
And, yeah.
If you have enough equity, they'll take the equity from your current home and put it towards the purchase of your new. So she says it was lovely. I mean, it sounds like she would absolutely do it again. She was able to make the transition and win a bid on a home, which we're finding to be very difficult in this market, and sell her home. Yeah.
And she lays it all out on this Inman article, so you can dig through that if you'd like. But Christy Keys, I got to follow you on Instagram. I'm going to do that right now, Christy.
You're assuming she's on Instagram.
I mean, with a name like that, if you're not on Instagram, Christy, get your butt on Instagram.
Oh, you should steal it.
Christy at Christy Keys.
It's all over.
Somebody is taking it right now. No, I'm taking it.
ChristyKeys.com.
All right, that's your Real Word podcast. If you haven't checked out or subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, please do that. We have all our confessionals up there. We have some good confessionals lined up. we were planning on doing those every week, but it's more of just like when we can book everybody.
Yeah,
So,
whenever Byron can be in town.
no, not true. Not true. We did the last one remote.
True.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've got some really good
Oh,
guests
but if
coming
anybody
up.
has some people that they maybe want to hear from on the confessionals,
Oh,
throw us the names. We would love to, get some people on the show that you want to hear from too.
Yes, in the comments. Would love to hear from you on that. And we'll see you guys next time.